I feel like I look a lot younger than my age. One, my skincare. Two, I've been doing Botox and fillers. I say do whatever makes you happy, and it's definitely made me happy.
Mid to late 20s, early 30s is where a lot of people, they're starting to notice the lines are faintly getting etched. When patients come later in their life, Botox is not going to make it completely gone now.
For so long, it's like I would always hear, especially like in the Latin culture, no, I want a woman that's natural, not fake. What does that even mean? What up, everyone? Feliz lunes. Welcome to Chiquis and Chill podcast. I'm your host, Chiquis, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Today, we're going to be talking about beauty, especially about some non-invasive facial procedures. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is Chiquis and Chill. Okay, so let's talk about Botox and fillers. This is something that I think used to be frowned upon, but I feel like it's becoming more and more mainstream, which I absolutely love because I love Botox, I love fillers, I love the aesthetic world, I love the beauty industry. I started getting Botox when I was 24. I feel like perhaps I didn't need it as much then, but I got it because I wanted to, because my business partner, Judy, who is my business partner in Be Flawless Skin, she has her own aesthetic spa in Corona, and I would go see her for facials and things like that. And she's the one that suggested, she's like, you should start getting Botox to prevent. And I'm so glad she did because I feel like I look a lot younger than my age. One, my skincare. And two, I've been doing Botox and fillers for a while. Actually, Botox first, and then I started getting fillers just a couple years ago. But yeah, I love it. And I say, heck yes, do whatever makes you happy. And it's definitely made me very happy. So now that I've shared a little bit about my experience with this stuff, I want to welcome our guest, Ginille Brown. She's an aesthetic nurse practitioner based in Santa Monica. She's been in the industry since 2013. So I'm so happy she's here. Welcome, Ginille. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I went on a whole thing about my Botox and everything. I started at 24. I mean, maybe I didn't need it, but I feel like it's important to prevent. And also if you're a little older and you have superficial, lines and stuff like that, I'm so for Botox and filler. By the way, you guys, I wish you guys could see this woman. She's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. You are very pretty.
I'm looking at you. I'm look at you. Start at 24. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's because, now I think people are more open about it, but yeah, a lot of people have questions. A lot of people, especially in the Latin culture, I feel like they are afraid. I mean, maybe yes, because they're okay, how much is it going to be, first of all? And then also because they've heard different things. So I'm glad that you're here so we can talk about all that stuff.
Yes, we can talk about all of it, anything.
Okay, awesome. So first of all, tell us a little bit about how you got into the beauty industry, because you did start off as a nurse, correct?
Yes. So I'm a nurse practitioner, and in 2013, I was just offered a job in a med spa. I was interviewing for an ER emergency room, and the girl that I met said, hey, you should come to my med spa. You can inject Botox and fillers. I did not know what that was at all. I was either 24 or 25, and we had just moved to LA, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. I can't help you. I've never learned about that. I thought it was just for people on TV and super fancy. She's like, just come check it out. She's like, people would love this opportunity. Just see what it's about. So I had this preconceived thought. When I went to the clinic, it was just regular women. And then I was hearing their stories all throughout the day about why they get stuff, how they feel more beautiful, how they just look normal. They wouldn't look some people think it's going to be plastic or you're going to look fake. And I didn't experience that at all. So I was like, oh, this is pretty neat. And people are happy to be here. And so, yeah, I took the job. I learned. They taught me a lot. And then I've been doing this now for 9 years. I just continue to learn as I'm going through it.
Yeah, it's because the beauty industry is just, I feel so fulfilling. It just makes you happy, to make other people happy. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's very different. But I had a blow dry bar. It's called Blow Me Dry. And I did makeup and blow dries and all kinds of stuff. It was just beautifying yourself. And it just, the people, women, even men, would walk in there and get their haircuts and their hair blow dried and their makeup done. And it's just they walked in one person and walked out another person. And I feel This is why I love the beauty industry so much. I love the aesthetic world. So it's because of that, because you just feel more confident. You just, and then let's be honest, in the society that we live in, there's so much pressure subconsciously or consciously on social media where you're like, I should look like that, blah, blah, blah. So when you do a little something for yourself like that, you just feel like, okay, my smile changes a little bit, you know?
Yeah, for sure. My patients tell me they just feel refreshed. They feel rested. They don't have to like put as much makeup. Like they're like, I can get ready quicker. Just little things like people don't know what I did, but they're like, you look good.
Yeah, that's the word, refreshed. Have you gotten any Botox yourself or like fillers and stuff?
I've done my whole face, and every time I like post about what I've done on social media, like TikTok and things, like people just want to see more. Those ones go viral. I think probably the biggest thing is like my under eye filler.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I've done everything. I've done eyes, cheeks, temples, chin.
I just started my cheeks. Because again, you guys, I am maturing. I started doing my cheeks right by the eye area, and it just lifts everything up. I don't know what it's called exactly, but like the needle goes straight in. I feel like it doesn't hurt that bad, to be honest. I feel like, I don't know, but I've done that. I just started doing that. And then now I grind my teeth. So they're doing this. What is this called?
So we do masseters. So our jaw muscles. Masseters. To like relax the muscles. So it helps with clenching and headaches, grinding, jaw pain.
Yeah, I started doing that. And if I feel like it's kind of thinned out my face a little bit more. So we started with that. But anyways, you look great. You look amazing, by the way. So like, I love the I need to do more under eye, you guys, because I'm getting like the dark circles.
Dark circles, like, yeah.
Do you inject yourself? I'm sure you don't, right? You have someone else that injects you, right?
I mean, I've had my colleagues do it, but sometimes I'm just like, let me do what I need to do.
Okay. See, I think I would be like you. I'd be like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I know what I want. I could do it myself.
I know. People are like, that's dangerous. I mean, I know like you said, I know what I'm trying to do. I just sit there and I can be focused and yeah.
Nice. Okay. So when you're seeing your clients, is there like a certain approach that you take? Like, do you let your clients just tell you, hey, I don't like this or whatnot? Or do you suggest stuff?
I do both. So for me, it's always a conversation with my patients. I've been seeing some of the same people for the past 9 years. And I tell them every time you come in the chair, we're going to talk about what you're seeing. That's really going to help guide me, because if somebody comes in and there's this little line that's like such a big deal to them, I want to make sure we can address that and not just like into them. If that's like their big thing, I want to make sure we can focus on it. But what I am thinking about when I look at somebody's face is like, I'm also considering what's beneath the skin. So you might say like something's going on with my cheeks. I'm thinking about the muscles, the fat pads, the bone, how things are changing with aging, with weight loss. And so a lot of it is conversing with the patients, making sure they can understand what I'm doing, why I'm trying to do it, but really understanding the aging process. Yeah. So talking to them about where we lose volume, people will start noticing lines just with aging or weight loss from like their under eyes, like kind of split into their cheeks. Yeah. And then the smile line, so like from the nose kind of curves down, and then from the corners of their mouth kind of down. I know it's like little details. And so I'll talk with them and I always say, look, the stuff I'm presenting is not to ever be mean. I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. I'm like, if you're open to it here, I can tell you what I see from, the medical side and how we can approach that. And there's going to be some things that there's just limitations we won't be able to do with Botox and fillers, like non-surgically, but here's how we can achieve X, Y, and Z if we can achieve what they're going for.
Yeah. So I think that's super important, just to be completely like transparent. I mean, would you ever say to someone like, no, I don't think that's a good idea? Or do you just do what they ask for?
Oh, no. So we definitely have a conversation. If there's something that we don't see eye to eye, I tell the patients like, let's table this today. I want us to both be on the same page if we're doing something. And there's going to be sometimes like if we just, if I'm just like, I really don't think that's going to serve you. Here's why. We have those conversations. Like, I'm not going to be just like do any and everything. I want people to feel beautiful. And most people that come to me, they kind of know my aesthetic already. So I don't get super over the top, like crazy requests. A lot of people that find me, they see my work and they're like, oh, people look like themselves. Like I said, the refresh thing, right? Like that's what I'm going for. Like I want to look like me maybe 5 years ago, or like I wasn't noticing these shadows, or now my concealer is not covering what it used to. So most people that find me are like, they already like my aesthetic.
Okay. Your style of doing things, right? Where it's like, I want to look natural. Like I want to look, like you said, myself. Because I don't know, a lot of people might not know this, okay, but I'm 37. So I started when I was 24. A lot of people come up to me, especially when I have no makeup on, and they're like, oh my gosh, you look like you're 28. And I honestly think it's one, because I do my best to take care of myself, especially with like my skincare, and Botox and fillers have been a big thing. I feel like it's better to start personally earlier on so that you keep that refresh look. So when people start doing it when they need it, it's more noticeable and it's kind of like, oh shit, what did that person do? It depends each style. Like if that's like your thing and you want to look a certain way, then that's what it is. You know what I mean? But for me, it's like I've always thought of preventing. How can I prevent? I just started also getting Botox here in my neck, you guys. That has been freaking amazing. Okay. Because I was like, something's going on with my neck. I'm starting to notice a little something. Yes. And they put like a bunch of them here, like kind of look like a corset that she created with Botox, which that's one thing that I was like, dude, it made a huge difference. And then I started getting like the upside down smile, the one you were talking about, like the corner of your mouth. Now it's starting to come back. Yeah, I need to go see you. I was like,
Anytime we can do it. I know, it's just like these little things. I treat everybody, but a lot of my people come like mid 20s to like late 40s. And that's when they're just like, something is going on. Most people are kind of like, I'm almost 35. So kind of around our age, you're just like, what's going on? Like some things are changing. And they're like, I woke up like this. I didn't have these lines. They probably didn't wake up like this, but all of a sudden they see it. And like, once you see it, it's kind of hard to unsee it. And that's what prompted me to get stuff too. I have 2 kids, and after my first one, I breastfed for so long. I gained weight and I lost a bunch of weight from feeding the baby. And like, I just looked gaunt. I was like, this is not what I'm used to seeing. And so that's where I was like, what can I do to like make me look like myself? And I will tell you, people didn't even know. Like people always think like, I can tell every person that does lip filler. I can tell anybody that gets Botox. They don't know. Like nobody knew. That's like nobody. My best friend from like high school, he's like, "What do you mean He's like, I knew you did it to people. Like I didn't know you were putting it in your face."
Yeah.
I was like, "How do you think I keep showing up looking the same as high school?"
Yeah. I think it also has a lot to do with your style or how you do it. You don't overdo it. There are people out there that want to look done up or really change the structure of your face, and that's totally all right. I'm just that type of person that's like, I want to just like where I've lost volume. I'm aging and I want to age gracefully, quote unquote gracefully. But I mean, I do, that's just my thing. I'm all about, dude, do your plastic surgery, do whatever the heck you want to do. But you know what I really like about you? It sounds like you really care about your patients and making them look the best versus how much money you can make. You know what I mean? Because if not, you'd say yes to everything and be like, yeah, if that's what you want, whatever. But I think it's all about longevity. It's like, I want to be in this industry for a long time. And it's literally your name behind all these faces. I love that. I can already tell that about you. So I love that.
That's, like I said, I've been treating some of the same people for the past 9 years. And then I treat their mom and then their daughter and then their sister and then their best friend. So I treat like families, and then my patients kind of become like a part of my family. It's really nice because I tell my patients, like, before they even come into clinic, I already pre-consult with every person, like on Zoom. I want to know like kind of what's driving them. What are they seeing? Like, tell me about what do you do for work? Because I'm going to treat like a person that gets their money from like being on OnlyFans different than somebody that's like, I'm a school teacher. Like, I need to know what drives them. What are they seeing? What are they trying to go for? Like, the more I know about them, the better I can serve them. So I'm like, I have to like talk with you and know what's going on. And I probably talk too much to them and I ask too many questions and I explain stuff way too much, but I'm like, I'm putting a needle in your face. Like, this is not a random thought. This is not a random product. And like what I do on you could be completely different than your twin sister.
I love that you ask about like their career, what they do on a daily basis, because it's like you want it to be fitting to what they do. It's not like I think that's amazing that you ask so many questions. I think that wow. I mean, and it's crazy because usually like people do consultations, but they're fairly just quick and straight to the point. But if you're like really like, hey, you're a teacher and you want to just look refreshed, you know what I mean? Like it does change because even if you're on television, like I come out on television a lot, and that's where I started noticing my neck situation where I was like, I started seeing myself. I was like, oh wait, like I turn a certain way and I'm like, I'm not liking that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. So it's been really helping me. Oh, I don't know. I want more. Okay. I'm obsessed with this stuff, guys. Whatever. I don't care what anyone thinks. I just feel like is a part of investing in yourself for you to feel better. And what I do, on TV, like I need to feel good. Okay. So if you're going to judge me, whatever. What are some like popular procedures? Like what do people come in for most?
So I'm like facial injectables. A lot of people come to me for under eyes, nose, jaw lines, and then everybody like lips. I do that day in, day out. TMJ Botox, which you kind of mentioned earlier for the jaw pain, and then cosmetic Botox. I mean, this is what I do all day.
Okay. So one thing I just recently learned as well, Botox is basically the name brand, correct? Like there's like, I started doing Dysport and Botox. Do you prefer one versus the other? It's the same thing. It's just different brands, correct?
Yeah. We have 4 in the United States that are currently FDA approved. So we have Botox, Dysport, Xeomin, Jeuveau. I offer Botox, Dysport, Xeomin. I've used Jeuveau. I love it too. I tell patients if you have, like everybody knows Botox because they make commercials and stuff. They don't usually know the other brands. I tell patients, try one, see if you have a preference. A lot of people can't tell a difference. They're all FDA approved for 3 to 4 months. Some people can. I mean, I can say I like Dysport, but I like them all.
Yeah, I've tried Botox and I've tried Dysport, and now that's what I'm using now, and I really like it. I feel like it kicks in a little faster and it lasts a little longer for me.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, I've really liked it. And are like lip fillers still super popular? Are people still coming in a lot for that? Yeah, and the jawline, like I feel like just the last 2 years have it's gone like freaking bananas.
I think people are seeing themselves on camera more. And like when you were saying the part about you seeing yourself in front of the camera, that is what helped me like to become a better injector. It's LA. So everybody's on camera and gorgeous people like you will come to me and they're like, I see this line. I'm like, I don't see a line. What are you talking about? But when they show me their film or their photos and they're like, I keep getting edited out or look from this angle, I was like, oh, so I had to like start learning those little details that are really impactful. But now I think, people are seeing themselves on Zoom or whatever, social media, if they're posting and they're starting to see like little things and then the filter, they're like, well, if I filter my face like this, they like the little jawline thing. So
nice little defined snatch jawline. I tried, I went in once and I asked, I was like, hey, what do you think about me defining a little bit more? And what she had suggested at the time was for me to do, I can never pronounce it right. What is that called? Kybella. There you go. So she suggested that under my chin to get rid of that fat. And then we were going to like look at it later. But I mean, I don't know. I kind of sometimes feel like I want a little bit more. I don't know. The more I look, like you said, on social media, I know. You're on Snapchat or you do like whatever, like, like the front camera just shows you so many different things, or even Facetune. Now with damn Facetune, you go in there, you're like, oh, dang, I didn't know I had that. And you're like smoothing everything out. So I think that's also, I hadn't thought about that until you said it, where I'm like, people are noticing it more. And that's why I think this industry is growing as much as it is because of social media.
I mean, it's a hard balance because I get people in there that are just drop dead gorgeous. And I'm like, gosh, and they're seeing like, well, when I filter it like this, and I'm like, gosh, like sometimes we have those conversations where it's like, maybe not, like you're not going to look exactly like this filter. Even if I put a ton of filler, like you're not going to have no lines at all on your face. So sometimes it's just like, do we want to do this? Like, what is the route that you're really trying to get to? We just have those conversations to make sure. I don't know. I don't want this thing where I'm like, it's not going to be you. You're not going to be happy with this at the end of the day because we're trying to chase some unrealistic thing to achieve. So
and now that you mention that, I do have a friend that uses this one filter, I think on Instagram, and she was using it so much that it's just kind of, it made her obviously want to really look like that. And she went somewhere, and it's so crazy that you said that. She went and she said, I want to look like I look with this filter on. Her lips were a little bit thicker, fuller, and then her jawline, and they were just like, I think it's just getting way too into people's heads. And I think my personal thing is like, I still want to look like Ginille, like Chiquis, but I just want to look like rejuvenated,
Yeah.
But we have to be realistic about it as well and listen to people, like listen to your aesthetic nurse, and listen to them. They know best. Okay. That's my only advice. Men are also doing it a lot more. I've noticed that they're getting a little bit more comfortable. They're going in for sure for their chins. They're going in for their jawline. Botox. Now guys are getting a little bit more comfortable. Are you seeing more men now?
Oh, I had a men's Botox party last week. I see
You're lying.
men. Oh yeah. They
That's
came
awesome.
in for, yeah, like it's really cool when they like let me share their stories and put up videos. And a lot of them are very comfortable and they're just like, yeah, I do this for me. Like, I don't like these lines
Yeah.
and they're getting deep. Or my dad has these lines and I don't want to look like I'm so angry. I don't have to look frozen and plastic, but the guys want to look good too. And I mean, I see young, I see old, I see black, white, Latino, I see everybody.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is it more Latino, more white, black guys? Like,
I see everybody. Like, I mean, and I've had guys that come in and I'm like treating them and then they're like, oh, I need to refer my wife. I'm like, oh, okay. Like it usually is like the wife refers the husband, but I've seen it both ways and they look like them same, refresh. You wouldn't know they did something, but they just look good. I can even see like the confidence increasing each time I see them and like from their before photos to their after photos, kind of like the little glimmer in their eyes. Like
yep.
Guys want to look like they like the masculine jaw. They like, their nose. They like Botox and TMJ. I do that a lot too.
Nice. See, I'm not mad at that. I think that a guy, I love a guy that gets a pedicure and a manicure and wants to go and like get his, his little frown lines done or his crow's feet. You know what I mean? Like I got my boyfriend to do it for the first time. I took him to go get he wanted like his chin a little bit like more defined and stuff. And he absolutely loved it. He's like, what the heck? Why didn't I know about this before? So I think it's awesome. Does your husband do it? Does he go to you or no?
So for years, he's always like, don't do stuff. And I was like, you can just do X, Y, Z. He's like, no. And then I get like a lot of skincare from the companies and stuff. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I just can't like use it all, but he kept like walking around with eye patches. And I was like, why do you keep wearing those? And he's like, well, you're not using them. So I was like, do you just want like some filler under your eyes? He's like, if you need a before and after for your page. I was like, I don't.
Do it. It's so funny.
We did like everything. We did his Botox, we did his eyes, we did his chin. And he's like, I don't see a difference. I'm like, you don't see a difference. But everybody at his work was like, what'd you guys do? He looks good. Like his face definitely looked brighter. And he stopped wearing the eye patches.
Thank goodness that guys are getting more comfortable with it because for so long, it's like, I would always hear, especially like in the Latin culture, it's kind of like, no, I want a woman that's natural or not fake, quote unquote. I'm like, what does that even mean? First of all, like not fake, natural, like shut up. You're not even going to notice, first of all. And now I'm like, thank goodness they're more open to it. And it's just like, dude, it's my face. I want to look pretty for myself and for you, but like, what's your take on that? Like someone that would come in and be like, well, I don't want to look quote unquote fake.
Everybody says it every day. But I think I have them really like look at my stuff beforehand. I want them to understand like what I'm doing, my approach, my pictures. And so then they already know, like, they're like, oh, well, all your people look like themselves. They look fresh. So they always say it like, I just want to look like myself. I want to look natural. I don't want to look fake. But they're like, I'm coming to you because I see your work. I like your aesthetic. And that's what I'm going for. And I'm not saying like I'm the end all be all, like I'm the beauty master, because other people may want something that's even less dramatic than I do or more dramatic. And they're going to find like their injector that serves them. So it's really about like doing that research, having those conversations, finding somebody's aesthetic style that you like and that you feel like you can trust and you can ask questions.
Yeah. My only thing to those of you that are listening that maybe have not gotten Botox or fillers because of what other people would think or you're afraid. Honestly, it's really at the end of the day, your complete choice. Like, I don't think anyone should have a say in it besides like if you want to look a certain way and if you don't want to ever do it, don't do it. That's totally fine, but don't let anyone else come in and tell you not to. Like I've been doing it for X amount of years and it's been great and I love it. And I think that I'm always going to work towards that. And I always put some money just to the side for it because it's something that makes me happy and I like to invest in myself. But that was just a little something I wanted to also share because it's great to be natural and not get anything done. That's awesome. That's amazing. And it's also great if you want to just do whatever you want to do yourself,
Exactly.
No one should judge personally. That's just, I don't know. Sometimes it just irritates me because it's like, oh no, you're not natural. Oh my goodness. I'm just like, oh, whatever. Give them the finger. So what is, like, in your opinion, a good age to start getting Botox or fillers?
I tell people that's totally up to you, but I will say, like, usually mid to late 20s, early 30s is where a lot of people come. They're starting to notice like the lines are faintly getting etched, and they usually are getting annoyed by that. When patients come later in their life, and like late 40s, mid 40s, and if they, haven't taken care of their skin, if they have really deep lines, they get disappointed when I tell them, look, these lines are etched. Like Botox is not going to make it completely gone now. Like they've been set in on the skin now. So then they're kind of like, well, what can I do? How do I get rid of them? And that, well, we can't, like they're there. So preventative, like I used to think it was a big hoax when I first started, but it works. Like if the muscles are not actively making those strong lines, they're never going to get set in.
And that's one of the reasons that I actually started Botox, was because I was afraid. My whole family has this, it's hereditary. It's the line right here. What is it called? The 11 or whatnot? Right, right between your eyebrows. Yes. So my grandpa has it. My uncles have it. My mom started doing Botox a little later in her life, but she didn't get it because she started getting like fillers and stuff. So she did it right on time before it like stuck. So that was in my head all the time. And I was like, I don't want that line. Even some of my cousins have it, and that's one of the reasons I was like, I'm going to start this now. Because, and then the under eye, the bags as well. So that's why I started doing under eye. I have my sister Jackie on it. Like I sent her down to my business partner. I sent her to her. I was like, you need to go. And I think I gave her a gift card for Christmas because she's a mom of 4. She's married. So she's always just the kids and this and that. I'm like, girl, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself for yourself and for your husband. So she did this thing on her under eyes, and it looks great because we all, like, you have to know, look at your family, look at the elders in your family and be like, okay, that's probably where I'm heading. If I want to prevent that stuff, maybe I should start now. That's my personal opinion.
I agree. And I mean, if people don't want to, I get it. Some people are just like, I don't want to do that or whatever. It's a finances thing. Like at the very least, I'm like, wear sunblock, use a retinoid, like do like the skin stuff, because that's also going to take you long-term it'll help.
Skincare, you guys, is huge. I have my own skincare line, and I've been doing since I was 16. I was just so into like all the 17 magazines and all that stuff. And I just love skincare. And I'm so glad that I did, because I'm huge on SPF. Like I'm one to say, wear it every single day, even if it's cloudy outside, even if it's winter, it does not matter. You will save yourself a ton of trouble in the future. Again, preventing. I'm all about preventative. One thing that a lot of people ask, and I wanted you to clarify a little bit, was, can Botox and filler be dissolved? I know that filler can, but I don't know about Botox.
Botox is not going to be dissolved, but your body, you're going to metabolize it, and it's going to wear off in a few months. So in the clinical trials, when they did Botox, they did like 20 units in the frown, 20 in the forehead, 12 on each eye. So it's 64 units, and they measured for most people, it lasts 3 to 4 months. So even let's say you get Botox and you're just like, I don't like this, like I hate it, which like nobody ever says, but nobody ever says that. But if you don't like it, it's going to wear off completely. Yeah. And like, you don't have to do it again. I just tell patients like, it's going to be fine. So you can't reverse it, but it'll come off. It'll wear off.
Yeah. That's one thing that I've noticed also, that when I work out more, my Botox, like it fades away, a lot sooner, so I just have to do it a little more often. It's when I'm not, like right now, I'm not working out as much as I used to, but when I did, it was just like, boom, like you could totally, like, I was like, damn, it's only been 2 months, but it's basically not necessarily like what it's made out of, like sugar, but it's like it metabolizes in your body like sugar. I have friends that it lasts anywhere from 3 to even 5 months. It just all depends. So, but I know for sure filler you can dissolve, right? Like with some type of solution or something like that, like lips and stuff, right?
Yes. So we can use, it's an enzyme called hyaluronidase or Hylenex. And so it's like a clear liquid, and we can inject it and it'll break down filler. So I can talk about like the important, like safety stuff behind filler, just because I do think there's a lot of like, I always see these on social media where people are like, you're going to go blind with filler, or it's always going to migrate.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to tell you, like a little bit more information, because these are the 2 biggest misconceptions. It's the migration, the filler migration. Like, is it going to move? Am I going to become blind if I do filler underneath my eye? Another one was, what are the side effects, like long-term side effects? Can you clarify a little bit on that?
Yeah, so we'll go through it. So I tell people safety wise, what we want to do when we're doing fillers, or what I'm looking for as an injector, and like any experience, like skilled injector should be looking for, is making sure that we're not blocking off blood flow. That can happen if we're putting too much filler into an area or into a blood vessel, and then blood can't like pass through. So what it would look like is like the person wouldn't have the normal color on their skin. It almost looked like pale or like gray. So that would be an indication. If the patient's having really extreme pain, that would be an indication because they're not getting the blood flow. Or if they're having any vision issues, that would also be an indication of like there's something wrong. This is super rare. I have worked in this for 9 years and I've never had to like dissolve anybody in any emergent reason. But I tell my patients, I'm constantly looking every single time I touch you, like I'm looking at your skin to assess and make sure things are normal, blood is flowing, we're not blocking off blood flow to the eyes, to the face. If anything ever looks weird, that's where you want to make sure your provider has the hyaluronidase, several vials on hand. I carry 16 to 20 vials in my office always to just be able to dissolve the filler if I needed to in any emergent reason. I think people make it like it's going to happen all the time. I'm like, I've done this day in and day out for 9 years. I've worked in large group practices. I've never seen this in my like practices with my colleagues. So it can happen because it's a medical procedure, but this is not super commonplace.
Okay. Have you ever personally hit a blood vessel?
Oh, I mean, I hit blood vessels every single day with like as soon as I poke the skin, but it's not hitting the blood vessel to like inject filler in where it's blocking blood flow. So never in any emergent reason. But I mean, I can put the needle in with Botox right now and like hit this blood vessel and it bleeds. It bleeds, it bruises. So it's really like seeing somebody that is not overdoing it. So the risky thing is like if we put a ton of filler into one area at one time, and that's where blood can't pass through. But like hit a blood vessel, we hit blood vessels every single time we're poking the skin because there's so many on the face. They're like completely covered in the face.
Yeah, because the reason I was asking, and I don't know what this is called, you'll probably be able to explain it better for me, but I went to go get these small little strings underneath my eye because I've done the PRP, which is they remove your blood and then it's like it's your plasma or something like that they put in your eye.
Yes.
So I've done filler and then I went in with her to do the strings and she hit something and I had a literally my eye swelled up. It was swollen. And then I had a black eye, like black eye all over my eye was red. So obviously she's like, it happens. It was great after everything went away. Like I love the results, but like, what did she hit?
So she hit like a blood vessel. So it's just like a bruise for that. So sometimes it can be like a bigger bruise or a small bruise. So that can depend on like how big our needles are. If somebody comes in and they've been on blood thinners, if they've been drinking recently, they're more likely to bleed and bruise. So I'm not worried about bruises. I tell people, I'm like, you're going to be bruised. Like I'm using a needle. This is going to happen. I'm trying to make sure we're not blocking off blood flow. Like we're having normal tissue perfusion. And really, like I said, if you think about the Bodies Museum, I don't know if you've seen that, but they have like you can show you like all the vasculature. It's everywhere. It's our whole face is covered. You just want to make sure your provider knows there are like more high risk areas that we inject, especially when we're injecting some of these higher risk areas, like where the blood vessels connect behind the eye. You want to make sure we're not overdoing it, using products that you can dissolve, going slow. So making sure like you have these conversations with your provider. I think some of it is there's the fear mongering side where people think as soon as you get Botox and fillers, you're going to go blind. And then there's a side where people just don't even know that it's a possibility, like that this is a medical procedure. And they just think, oh, this is like going to get a haircut. Like it's still a medical procedure. So I'm like, you want to know who you're seeing, making sure they're licensed, making sure you know where they're getting this product and this product is FDA approved and, just be safe.
Yeah, I think it's just informing yourself, asking lots of questions to like she said, to your provider and just knowing at the end of the day, like, we have veins, we have blood vessels, we have so many things, especially in our face. But like it's happened to me. I've bruised, I got a black eye. I was totally fine. It went away. It's basically a big ass bruise. And then I love the results though. I loved it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it again. I wasn't scared. Honestly, I'm like, it's totally fine. We're absolutely fine. Now, have you heard anything about like long-term effects, like something that can happen or like anything like that?
I haven't. And I've had patients that have been using it over 20 years. Some other countries have had it before us and they've been using it and they just look really great. They're really happy.
Especially
They're really
Europeans.
happy. Brazilians. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't heard anything. Like I said, I've had people who've been using this over 20 years.
Neither have I, like, honestly. So I was just, I'm like, I'm just going to ask just so that anyone that's listening knows. And I'm telling you, I love this industry. So I'm going to be the first one to say, go get it. Go do it. That's why, I'm like, I can look at someone and if they ask me, I'm straight up. I'm like, okay, yeah, I think you need this and this and that. I feel like all I need to know, I need to go to school for all those years, but I can be like, this is where you need it. I have an eye for it.
And you do makeup and stuff. Those are like makeup artists. They really are artists, photographers. They really have good eyes for this stuff.
Oh yeah. My makeup artist will tell me. I won't even tell him or her I did this. And they're like, oh my God, the contour looks better today because I started doing my cheeks. I'm like, oh yeah, I did this. And they're like, oh my God, I could totally tell. They love it because it's so much easier to contour your face, to just define it. So yeah, I mean, even my boyfriend, he's a photographer, so he sees it all, which is weird because I'm like, how did you not ever go in yourself to do it? But I think he was just shy. So I think he was like, I needed you in my life to take me. And talking about men, I feel like the industry, the aesthetic world is mainly women as far as like providers. Is that correct?
It's more female dominant. I mean, I used to work with a male provider, but it's really like female dominant, which I mean, I kind of like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the guy that I used to work with, he's great. Like he's injected me, but sometimes I think like seeing a woman, like we get the women problems. I don't know. Like we're all trying to do the same highlighter in the same plate, you know?
I prefer a woman. I don't know why, but I feel like women are more gentle as well. And like we have the eye and we want to look still like feminine. You know what I mean? Like that's just me personally. I don't know. So do you know of any like future, like what do you think of future trends? Do you think like what will become like super popular in a couple of years?
I think Botox there's going to be one coming out that like lasts longer. So I think that'll be a thing. I just think like the natural aesthetic will continue to like take precedent. Like more and more people will be like, oh, like you can look natural and do it. And it doesn't have to be this super overdone, super dramatic thing where you change your face. I think that is just going to keep being highlighted as like more people, me, like we're talking about what we've done and people can say, oh, wow, they look normal. I think that's going to help.
Yeah, for sure. I am so glad we had this conversation. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and being so open. And before you go, can you please share your social media? Do you have a website? Like where can people find you?
Definitely. Thank you. So I'm Ginille and my Instagram and my TikTok are Ginille. It's GINILLE_NP. That sounds for nurse practitioner. And then GinilleBeauty.com is my website. So I'm in Santa Monica. I would love to connect with you guys. Se habla español un poco.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you so much. There you guys can find her. She's beautiful. She's like, you guys heard her. She's awesome. And I think that if you are a first timer looking to get it, she will ask you every question and answer any question that you may have so that you feel safe. You definitely made me feel good. So I'm sure the people that are listening feel the same way. And before we go, you guys, as always, I have a Motivational Monday quote. And the quote is, I can't think of any better representation of beauty than someone who is unafraid to be herself. So don't be afraid. Go out and do what you want. Okay. If you want Botox, do it. If you want filler, bigger lips, you want a different, whatever, just do what's going to make you happy. F what everyone else thinks. That's just my personal opinion. But Ginille, thank you so much. You guys, thank you for listening. I will catch you guys next Monday. Catch me next Monday. I love you guys. Y besitos de las dos. Blow them kisses, Ginille.
Adios.
Bye. And guys, I want to let you know there's a brand new way for us to keep in touch. You can now leave me a voice memo directly through the iHeartRadio app. Just click the microphone at the top of the Chiquis and Chill podcast homepage within the iHeartRadio app. And if you don't already have the app, you can download it for free. Your questions and comments could be featured in a future episode, so feel free to let me know what's on your mind. This is a production of iHeartRadio and My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcasts and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.